That's Toto and Africa. Now, my first guest today is one of Northern Ireland's leading sopranos. She is Mairead Healy, who is equally at home singing with Opera Northern Ireland and the Ulster Orchestra, as she is with leading roles in today's popular musicals. And I'm delighted to say that Mairead is with me now. How are you?
I am very well, thank you,
It's a long
Gerry.
while since you and I met.
It is indeed.
Isn't it?
Yes.
I've just discovered singing wasn't your first thing that you wanted to do.
Well, I've always sung. I've always been a singer, and when I went to university to study music, I studied guitar, and during that, the lovely Dr. Hunter, one of my professors, said, "Mairead, you're not a guitarist, you're a singer." So, I loved playing classical guitar, and it's what I had studied up to that period. But he liked my voice and started to give me solos and some of the choir work that we were doing there. And I realised that I loved to sing. So
a lot of the early stuff was in choirs, was it?
A lot of the early stuff, yeah. I think most singers have grown up, singing in the church or, whatever church that they belong to, and went on to study music. But I hadn't sung an awful lot, and I hadn't had a lot of experience in performing solo. And I think really the first time I performed solo was at university, when I was given a line in the university choir. And I remember, this massive university choir when I went to University of Ulster. And I remember my mum and my sister said, we could hear Mairead, and I loved it. And it was really only after that then that I applied to do a postgrad certificate in education to become a music teacher.
Right.
And I didn't get on the course that year, and I was devastated and thought to myself, gosh, what am I going to do for a year, because I hadn't planned to do anything else. And my mum said, well, look, why don't you get yourself involved in one of those musical theatres groups that are out there? And I remember sitting talking to her on the phone when through my letterbox came a flyer, and it was Opera Northern Ireland. We're looking for young people to audition for West Side Story. And I thought, well, yeah, I'd love that. And I phoned up and got myself to get to part of the audition process. And I thought I'd love to be in the chorus. And because I hadn't really done a lot of musical theatre, and as part of the audition process, you had to dance, and then you went into singing, and then you did acting workshops. And I was delighted when they told me they wanted to offer me a leading role. So it was just wonderful, and I was so excited. And I remember the first time that I was singing with the Ulster Orchestra in the pit, and I was so nervous and I was so excited, and it was just a wonderful experience. And I played the part of Rosalia, who is in the I Feel Pretty number, and she sings the American number, but they also said to me, I would love you to sing the Somewhere number. And Somewhere is just a stunning song.
You came from nowhere
to do this. And I think I was so young at the time as well, and inexperienced.
No nerves, yeah.
I didn't know to be as nervous,
Did you have your voice trained at any stage?
I trained, yes. I trained at university, but I also trained with the late Irene Sanford as well.
Of course. And then after that, was that it? Was that you hooked then? Well,
it was me hooked, and then the following year I was successful in getting an application to the teaching course that I wanted to pursue. And I decided then that I would do the singing and the teaching, and I again worked with Michael Poyner, who was the director of West Side Story. He asked me to come along again and audition. We did Godspell in the Ulster Hall, which was 3 weeks in the Ulster Hall. It was quite a long time to perform in that venue. And I did Grace, and we toured Grace with, I think we started in the Opera House, and we went to Derry and Cork.
With that voice, Mairead, did you not become maybe into high opera? No, was it always sort of musical theatre you were more interested in?
Well, it was music. I was always a soprano. I would have been identified as a high soprano at university, and even in the choirs I would have sung the high soprano roles. But I think that these shows like Grace and Godspell, you have to be able to sing lower pitch music as well. You have to be able to sing at any level. So it helped me to develop my voice, whether I was singing something at an operatic style or whether I was singing a folk song. a Godspell or something that's a wee bit more poppy or rocky, that like in Greece.
But you're quite at home doing all those different...
I'm quite at home, yes, and I toured with the Belfast Harp Orchestra as well. Pretty soon after that, we toured Scotland and Ireland, and a lot of that music was written very much in the traditional folk style.
You get a lot of social media, do you not, to get your music out? Because once we said last night that you were coming on Twitter, we said that you're on the programme today. Stuff's coming in from like all over America.
Yeah.
How did they know you out there?
Well, I actually got a notification from Twitter yesterday that I'm there 3 years, and before that I wasn't on any social media. And how I got onto that was my young daughter, who's 16 now. I think she was 13 at the time, and she wanted to use Twitter, and I said, well, being a very responsible parent, I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'm not on any social media, so I'll decide whether I want you to be on that, so I'll get myself an account. And she got bored very quickly and went back on the Instagram and Facebook. But I then continued with the Twitter, and people started to say, can we hear your music? Where can we hear your music? And then a YouTube channel where I could send links for them to hear my singing. And next thing, I'm communicating with people all over the world who want to know where they can download my music and supporting me. And I know there's a Mairead Healy fans page.
Because I saw that, a US, I saw that.
From America,
yeah.
And they see him on Facebook, and it's run by a very lovely gentleman called James, and I know that he follows everything that I do. So, yeah, it's
Would you have any wish
wonderful.
to follow that up by going out to America?
Oh, I have not performed in America. I've performed all over UK and Ireland, but yeah, I'd love to go out there and do something.
And you ought to stay. Will you say your daughter's 16?
My daughter's 16, and my 18-year-old daughter's just received word that she's going to be studying biomedical science in Edinburgh.
So therefore, the nest is empty, or will be very shortly.
Yes, yeah.
Maybe it's time to take some more me time.
Oh, maybe, but then, as you know, I teach full time as well.
That's
so
the other snag.
That's a very important part of what I do as well.
Where can people hear you? You've one album out, have you not? Yes.
I have an album. It's been out quite a few years now, and I'm now working on my second album.
When's it due, do you reckon?
Well, we've been working on it quite a while. I know Thomas is here with me, Thomas Brown, who's playing at least a couple of the tracks on me so far. And yeah, it's slow. Whenever you're a mother of two and you're teaching and you're performing, and there's a lot on, and finding the time for me to get into the recording studio that meets with my producer as well.
Course,
and
of course.
So yeah, it's moving slowly, but we are getting, I think, about 5 tracks done so far. I'd like to maybe have about 10 or 11 on there.
Yeah. Where can people, have you any gigs coming up?
I'm performing with a very good friend of mine called David Curry, who's a fantastic tenor, under the brand of Stellar Voices, and we have an upcoming concert in the Bernavon Theatre, which is Saturday the 9th of September. And we've also some concerts planned for the autumn, and some very nice Christmas concerts planned as well. So, we'll keep you up to date with dates.
Okay. What will you sing for us today?
I'm going to sing a beautiful song. I originally heard the folk singer Maura O'Connell singing it. I think I remember Artie McGlynn accompanying her on the guitar. And it's an Edith Piaf song, and it's called If You Love Me.
Make your way across to the piano, will you? And Thomas Brown, who is our pianist for today. So this is Mairead Healy. That album that she was talking about, that first album that you had, is called I Have a Love, and that's still available. And as she was saying, hopefully she's going to get another new album out before the end of the year. So, Mairead, in your own time.
If the sun should tumble from the sky, if the sea should suddenly run dry, if you love me, really love me, let it happen, I won't care. If it seems that everything is lost, I shall smile and never count the cost. If you love me, really love me, then whatever happens, I won't care. Shall I I catch a falling star? Shall I bring it where you are? If you want me to, I will. You can set me any task, and I'll do anything you ask. If you'd only love me still. When at last our life on earth is through, I shall share eternity with you. If you love me, really love me, then whatever happens, I won't care. Shall I catch a falling star? Shall I bring it where you are? If you want me to, I will. You can set me any task, and I'll do anything you ask. If you'd only love me still. When at last my life on earth is through, I shall share eternity with you. If you love me, really love me, then whatever happens, I won't care. I won't care.
That's the beautiful soprano voice of Mairead Healy. Mairead, that was absolutely lovely. I didn't realise that was an Edith Piaf song.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Did she sing it in French, I presume?
Him à l'amour, yeah.
It's
yeah,
lovely, a
beautiful.
lovely, lovely song.
Thank you.
Mairead, thanks for coming in. Thomas, thank you for coming in
thank
as
you.
well. Good luck with the concert in September, you say. There you go. Mairead Healy is the name.